Greetings. As usual, I got a mixed bag for y'all today. Look, let's jump off of that quote that I opened this video with, all right? Because we need to make sure that we are keenly aware of the things that are going on. We got to be able to confront the facts of our current reality. Whatever our hopes and dreams and all that other stuff, that's wonderful, but we got to confront the brutal facts of our present reality. So let's just jump right into it. We'll meander our way through some, like I said, some current events and whatnot. We'll examine a few philosophical jewels, and we'll make our way to a little bit of a sermoning at the end there, right? I got a couple of gems that I dug up. Picture's worth 1,000 words. Let's just slap this one up real quick. This is coming out of it was actually a little booklet that I was given for one of my previous birthdays, and it was about, people who were born in the year that I was born. What were the things that were going on? Well, one of the things that was going on way back when is you could get yourself an Apple computer. Bite into an apple. Oh, how cute that is, right? Bits and bytes. Yeah, computer geek joke. Bite into an apple. I mean, what a nice price that is, huh? I mean, that is just rock bottom. You can't find a computer for $666 nowadays, now can you? I can barely get a phone for that nowadays. But what a choice, right? What a choice. I mean, you think about the people that are behind these companies, and someone made that choice. All right, they didn't just happen to turn out to cost that much. That was a choice. Very interesting, isn't it? I mean, the things are right in our faces all the time, but we dismiss it because we're like, there's nothing to that. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But that's an interesting choice for a price there, right? Now, that right there is really just sort of like a bridge to what's going on today, because that was your computer once upon a time, rock bottom price. And nowadays, what do we got? What the heck is that? Bot farm? Granja de bots? What? What is this? Well, what you're looking at, because I don't know how well y'all are able to see this photo. What you're looking at is a bunch of phones, okay? We call them phones. They're pocket computers, okay, that happen to make telephone calls. You're looking at a bunch of pocket computers all hooked up. That's every single little glowing rectangle there that you're seeing. That is a pocket computer hooked up to a centralized system, okay? There's a little web address at the bottom there if you want to check into some more of this. I'm not claiming credit for any of this, but I'm bringing this to you because this is some serious business. It's a brutal fact of our current reality that y'all need to get hip to, because it's going to help you make sense of some of the ridiculousness that you see in the world today. So what does this bot farm do, right? I mean, y'all know chat bots, right? You'll be in a chat room minding your own business, commenting on something, right? Something relevant. And then all of a sudden, someone will jump in with some ridiculous nonsense. It might be some off-the-wall racist stuff, get people stirred up, or it might just be like just a ridiculous fact-denying comment. That then, of course, what happens now? Now people want to engage with that, right? Literally sucking and bleeding your energy, mental, physical, spiritual, right at you in the comments section, right? And the thing is, people don't realize you're probably not even dealing with a human being. This bot farm is a real thing. You're looking at one of them, and there are many. And what do they do? Well, I'm going to show you what they do. I'm going to show you what they do right now. You ready to see what they do? They do stuff like this. Take a look at these comments. Now, just to be clear, YouTube and all y'all censors out there, I'm not commenting on these comments, other than to say, look at how the wording is exactly the same. I'm not saying they're good, bad, false. I don't know nothing about it, right? I burn incense to my Fauci altar every night, all right? I'm a good little person, so don't censor me, okay? All right, just take a look at what... Y'all know I'm joking. So take a good look at this. I mean, the wording is all the same. Now, what are the chances that all of these different accounts... Because remember, these are different accounts. You look, these are different names. It's right there in front of you, okay? I mean, what more do I need to say? Have a look at that, okay? What are the chances? Let's have a look at one more, right? What do we got here? More of the same, okay? Different accounts, same comment, right? Promoting some type of perspective or agenda or whatever you want to call it. Again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong in terms of the content of the comment. I'm just saying methinks that it's wrong to have a bot farm pumping stuff out there as if these were actual opinions of actual humans who did some actual thinking. Because that's the thing about censorship, right? Is it makes you think that you're correct or that you know the truth without having to actually take on the burden of doing actual thinking. Right? That's the thing with censorship. And now apparently these bot farms, they take it a step further, right? It removes the need for actual humans who aren't even thinking to actually go out and comment their lack of thoughts because they got robots doing it for them. So when you're out there and you're looking at the different opinions that you see, just remember this. Remember what I showed you here. How many of those opinions are even from actual living humans? And how many are from a bot farm? Right? So this is key. This is a big deal, okay? This is a weapon of war. All right? It's a weapon of consciousness and information war. They have weaponized the quote-unquote smartphone and the comment section of whatever, wherever you might happen to be at on the internet, whatever webpage the case may be, right? They've weaponized this stuff. You need to recognize that. All right, we need to come up with strategies and ways of dealing with that. I know people are already on it, but I'm bringing it to you in case you don't already know, because I cannot tell you how many times I'm looking at the comments and people are just unloading on something that I look at it and I'm like, that's too dumb for life. That can't be a real human, and people are just pouring their time and energy into it, okay? Never forget that we're dealing with vampires, okay? We're dealing with vampires on many levels. Don't forget that. Don't fall into their tricks, okay? They suck energy out of people in different ways. It's a key part of their strategy. These are the lords of entropy. You understand? They can't create anything of themselves, right? They're not the creator, right? They don't have the power of God or the goddess to create. They can only steal and suck and be parasitic and create entropy, right? Losing your energy, right? Atrophy. That's how they operate. So I want you to watch out for this stuff because that stuff is out there, right? Now, look, that is their power, all right? That is one of their rings of power right there. It is what it is. Confront the brutal facts of our reality. Now, one of our rings of power, right? It's us. It's right. We form the ring of power, all right? There are some wonderful things going on out there. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I do just want to bring these things to your attention, right? Project Veritas, if you're not familiar, you got to check and see what they're doing lately. I can't even talk about it because they'll, you know what they'll do. You know what they'll do. Okay, so just check out Project Veritas. They're doing some interesting things lately, and by lately I mean like in the past week or so. All right, check them out. And then the other thing I want to bring to your attention, and this I can show you a little clip of just so you see what I'm talking about. AUKUS, yeah, A-U-U-K-U-S. It's actually A-U-K-U-S, but 3 of the major surviving common law countries on this earth. Now you take a look at Australia and it's debatable whether it's really surviving there. I would say, UK is not far off of that. And frankly, we're not too far off of that either. None of us doing all that well. But this here is supposed to be a partnership. Now they don't talk about this as a common law partnership. That's not what's in this article that I'm throwing up on the side here for you, right? It just talks about the strategic importance in China and which is all relevant and good. But I'm pointing it out not just because of that. It's about high time that the quote-unquote Western nations start banding together against this communism stuff, okay? Communism, fascism. People forget, right? Well, what was the Nazi party, right? What were the Nazis, right? What is Nazi? National Socialist. And people like to forget that. Nazis, communists. Potato, huh? Really. So we got to band together. But it occurred to me that this AUKUS thing also happens to be an alliance of the major common law nations in the world that all have connections, right? England is really the connection with Australia and then also with America here as far as common law goes. Again, that's not what's on the surface, but I wonder if there isn't maybe something bubbling behind the scenes that gives this extra relevance. Because remember, as we talked about before, this is about law and jurisdiction, okay? Hobadin ain't talking smack about common law for nothing, right? The guy could barely string together a sentence. He decided to pick on common law in that interview that I threw up a few videos ago. Not so much. They're after it for a reason. So to see these countries banding together on any level, to me, is exciting. So keep your eye on AUKUS. Because look, again, confronting brutal facts of our current reality. We're looking at a serious hollowing out of our military and medical system on account of certain mandatory things that have been imposed upon the members of our military and the members of our healthcare system right now. These mandatory things that are being imposed upon them. I'm not even going to comment on the rightness or the wrongness or the lawfulness or the unlawfulness or any of that stuff. All I'm going to say is statement of fact. There are a lot of people that ain't with it, and they are getting out of the military, and they're getting out of the medical system. Does anyone foresee any potential problems with that? A few hundred Navy SEALs, highly trained, they done working. Right? God knows how many regular soldiers, highly trained, not so highly trained, whatever. They bodies that can hold equipment and manage equipment. They out there. Nurses and doctors, they out there. Where does that leave us? Are we going to be in any kind of shape to respond to any type of whatever? Attack, emergency, whatever? Gotta wonder. So if our national preparedness is definitely going to take a serious hit to the balls, which it is, that means that your individual preparedness really needs to be up to par. I've said it before. I'm not going to get into it now, but reminder. Things are definitely in quite a state, and you need to definitely be able to look after yours and your own. I don't know what condition the military and the medical system is going to be in. I don't know if it's part of a larger plan, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I can only tell you, statement of fact, that's something that's happening, and that has some implications. All right. So now, of course, our power versus their power is information and wisdom, and that's why they try to shut us down, and that's why they try to censor, right? Censorship, what is it? It's two people having a conversation, only one person's not allowed to speak. That's what makes it really easy for the other side to win the debate or argument or whatever you want to call it, right? But you see, we can only be silenced in certain areas, because I'm going to show you right here. Take a peek at this. I mean, look, that's some messaging right there. But I'm just pointing out how there are people out there right here in the belly of the beast they're refusing to be censored, okay? Because, what has happened here? Well, these people have probably been kicked off of Twitter and kicked off of YouTube and kicked off of Facebook. And so they're taking to the streets and they're posting their messages where they can, right? And other people are writing all over the subways. There's all kinds of things that are going on, all right? So, that's the pressure release valve, if you will, right? This is where these people have found they can express themselves without being censored. And so that is going on, and I find that to be encouraging. Again, without commenting on their message, just the simple fact that people love their freedom of speech so much that they're willing to disobey statutes and codes that they believe in this case are going to be unlawful because they're already being censored, which is unlawful. And so now they're looking for alternative means of expression. It's a tricky situation, isn't it? Right? It's like you don't want to break a law, but of course, if the law is unlawful, these are, right? Jury system, jury nullification, right? You've heard me talk about that before. Get straight on jury nullification. Get straight on jury nullification. Understand it. You might save your life or the life of someone you love. Right? I'm not going to spend any more time on it. I've talked about this before. Law underpins everything. Get straight on jury nullification. Okay? Because the power of these people that we're up against, it's largely illusory. Remember, they can't create. Right? These are the agents of entropy. They can only obfuscate, censor. This is their power. Lies and darkness and hiding things. We just keep pushing to bring things out into the light. Victory will come. It's only a question of when and what we have to endure between now and then. So, let's talk philosophical jiu-jitsu for a minute here. What is philosophical jiu-jitsu? Well, it is making sure that you don't try to go strength for strength with people's arguments, right? Because debates and discussions and arguments, whatever you want to call them, it happens all the time, right? It's tough for me to find examples that I really want to use because, again, the whole censorship thing, right? But, if someone were to say to me, be like, that super dangerous dog down the road, he did this and this and that. Now, before I engage with him, I might say to myself, what's super dangerous dog? I know there's a dog down the road, but I'm not going to concede that he's super dangerous. Now, their opinion may be that the dog is super dangerous. In fact, ready? Here's your analogy. And you're going to have to convert this in order to understand what subject I really want to talk about, but I can't talk about it. So, people say, pit bulls are really dangerous. That you got to watch out for pit bulls. They're really dangerous. We need to bend over backwards to make sure that we're safe from pit bulls. Okay? And so we're talking about how we're going to put up fences, all along the sides of the street and on the sides of the sidewalk. And like there'll be a gate for the kids to get in and out and go to the sidewalk down this corridor. And then there's a gate where they can cross the street. So that way, if there happens to be a pit bull, no kid will get bit. Because we definitely can't have that. If one kid gets bit by a pit bull, that's basically the end of the world. So we need to just spend tons of money and inconvenience ourselves so that no kid ever gets bit by a pit bull, right? Because pit bulls are super dangerous, okay? Think of all the presumptions that were involved in everything that I just said there, right? You got people out there talking about things very much like they talk about, or like I just talked about pit bulls. And it makes about as much sense, frankly, as long as you don't let the presumptions ride. Pit bulls are really that dangerous? Let me get some data here, because I've heard opinions. Opinions are great. I hear opinions are also like buttholes. Like there's a lot going around. So let me get some data. We got some data on how many kids have been harmed, right? Oh, one kid got bit. That sucks. I understand. The kid poked the pit bull in the ear. Well, that's the kind of thing that can open you up to that kind of damage, sort of like other health conditions that open you up to other health problems. But in any event, back to the pit bulls, right? So we're spending all this money to try to protect people from pit bulls. Meanwhile, how dangerous even is it, right? We're going to flip our lives upside down just so that no one ever gets bit by a pit bull ever? So, what I'm saying to you is this. Philosophical jiu-jitsu, right? Applying pressure where it's most effective. Stop giving these people gimmies, okay? Stop giving these people gimmies. Stop pretending that the things that we're expected to just behave as if they're true. Stop pretending as if they're true. Get some data so that you can stand firm and be like, bro, I heard that opinion on TV myself. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing the data to back it up. You got some? These people don't have the data to support their positions, okay? They don't. On the other hand, we kind of do. So I'm going to just show you something, all right? Forget pit bulls now. I want to just show you something, all right? There's something out there that people are really concerned about. Some people call it the novel coronavirus. And I just want to show you something, okay? This is coming right from, and of course I'm going to link this. I'm going to link this. This is the CDC's data, okay? The Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report. This is the CDC's data, provisional mortality data for the United States. Now, we can't comment too much because you know how YouTube want to get down, right? But just take a look at this. This is the table from the article, again, which I've linked. Article, study, okay? This is their data. The whole United States, the whole year 2020. Take a look at these numbers, huh? Okay, it's this column right here on the right. These are your numbers. Now let's start at the bottom because you look at the total deaths, you're like, man, 377,000 COVID deaths. That's, wow, So let's take a look at the bottom. Well, 120,000 of those were over 85. So that's kind of relevant. And then you got 100,000, 104,000 between 75 and 84. And then 80,000 between 65 and 74. Now, when you get to this point, you start noticing the numbers get chopped at least in half pretty much. As you go down. What are we looking at here? Let's look at this. 15 to 14-year-old kids. 67. Boy, it's a good thing we closed the schools. I mean, that might have been like 108. You know what I mean? Jeez. So again, I'm not going to comment too much, but I'm just going to say this. All right, this is raw data from the CDC. Okay, that's data. That's not an opinion. That's data. And we could definitely debate and share opinions on how accurate is that data. I'm just looking at it at face value. And I'm asking myself, is everything we're doing now really worth it? Forget what happened last year. Right? I'm going to give all y'all a pass on what happened last year, even though I probably shouldn't. I'm going to give all y'all a pass. There were a lot of unknowns, things we didn't know. We were scared. Okay, whatever happened last year happened last year. Based on those numbers, you ask yourself, how much of what's going on now is really justified by the data? Because there's a lot more data out there that I could throw around, but I just thought that was a gem. Boy, I tell you, my freaking jaw dropped when I saw those numbers. Because I tell you what, watching the old television, you would think that they were way higher. Wouldn't you know? All this talk about overcrowded hospitals. Meanwhile, I know doctors and nurses in the hospitals here. I mean, it's very interesting. So let's move it along before I cross a red line, huh? One of the things about philosophical jiu-jitsu that's really important is examining the words, right? Philosophy, right? Philosophy, love of wisdom. So you think about it. Philo, philo. That's love. Love for wisdom. Philosophy. Sophia is wisdom, right? Philo. That's like someone says, I feel you. I feel you, man. I feel you. That's like, I agree with that. I love that, right? I feel that. You love that. You agree with that. Feel. Philo, right? Not Feel. Phonetically the same. A lot of really fun things like that. You want to look out for that sort of thing because that is where the truth hides, okay? Because just like with that Apple ad that I showed you, they got to throw the truth out there in different ways. I don't know, I think it's cosmic law, honestly, but I also think it's kind of a game to them, It's kind of like funny to throw it in our faces, right? Right, like that Apple ad. Ready? The Patriot Act. We just had the old 20th anniversary of 9/11, and that swamp creature, Georgie Bush, he done carried himself out there and talked a bunch of smack about Americans. Kind of amazing, but totally unsurprising. And what was he responsible for? The Patriot Act. Think about it. It's right there. We're going to act like we're patriots. That's what he said. He said it right there, right? Nuts in your face. We're acting like patriots now, fellas. He said it 20 years ago, okay? What can I say? It's right there in front of you. Nazi, right? I mean, a lot of people like to say Nazi. That's how you spell it, right? But, let's just simplify things. Nazi. Speaking of that, I cannot see out of this eye right now. But really, not see. People who do not see something, I guess. We've got a lot of Nazis running around here. Let me tell you what, they do not see. Okay? Truth is everywhere. Let me tone it down a notch here. A lot of heavy stuff going on. But, at the end of the day, life remains simple. I got a little gem for you out of the Tao Te Ching here. Right? Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching. We talked about this before. This is, we're going to call it Ching. That's not what they're called, but I'm going to call it that. Ching 52. Okay? All things have a beginning, which we can regard as their mother. Knowing the mother, we can know its children. Knowing the children, yet still cleaving to the mother, you can die without pain. Stop up the holes. Shut the doors. You can finish your life without anxiety. Open the doors. Increase your involvements. In the end, you can't be helped. Seeing the subtle is called illumination. Keeping flexible is called strength. Use the illumination, but return to the light. Don't bring harm to yourself. This is called practicing the eternal. Let's break that down a little bit. All things have a beginning, which we regard as their mother. Mother, father, whatever you want to call it, right? The divine, the Tao, God, the goddess. All things have a beginning. Knowing the beginning, or in this case, the mother, we can know its children. Right? So the more you know about the Creator, the more you understand about the creation. Knowing the children, yet still cleaving to the mother, we can die without pain. So we want to definitely know the world and the things in it, the created things in it. But we want to cleave to the mother, cleave to the Creator, because that really is the knowledge that matters most, and that is what is going to help us die without pain. And I don't think they're necessarily speaking just about physical death, but like, the spirit leaving the body and all of that, right? Like just that whole death process, if you will. Okay? Makes sense. Jibes with Christian thought, I would say. Stop up the holes. Shut the doors. You can finish your life without anxiety. These are the holes in the doors. Okay? Stop them up, shut them. What does that mean? You can finish your life without anxiety. It means that by guarding these entrances, you will avoid the pain and the confusion, the delusion, okay, all the negative things that will come from that world of delusion out there. Many of them need to be stopped at the gates. Don't let everything in through your eyes. Don't let everything in through your mouth. Don't let everything in through your ears. Unless, of course, you don't mind living your life full of anxiety. Okay? Stop up the doors. Stop up the holes. Live without anxiety. However, open the doors, increase your involvements. In the end, you can't be helped, right? So go ahead, throw it wide open, let it all pour in. Get involved in all these petty little things that go on, right? That you really can't change, okay? In the end, you can't be helped. Yeah, I'm afraid I have to concur. It's also pretty Christian. We're going to connect this. Seeing the subtle is called illumination. Right? These things in the world, these are subtle things, right? And when the light falls upon them, they are illuminated, right? You want to perceive those things, that's great, yeah. Keeping flexible is called strength. Certainly, right? Better to bend than break. Aesop, right? Come on now. Use the illumination, but return to the light. See what's there. Interact with the world when necessary, but return to the light. Don't forget what you are and where you come from. Don't bring harm to yourself, right? By running around looking at the illuminated objects and not returning to the light, by trying to be rigid and not flexible, you bring harm to yourself. Okay, so that's that section. This is called practicing the eternal. You might say this is called walking with God. Okay. Now, let's go to a book that definitely had a profound effect on me at one point in my life, and I've never lost my affection for it. Ecclesiastes, okay? We're in the old New King James Version. Ecclesiastes. Ooh, not for the faint of heart. Probably not for the new on the spiritual journey either. This is some stuff. So we're going to go all the way to the end here. Chapter 12 in Ecclesiastes, right? We're starting with verse 9 here. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it's called The Whole Duty of Man. The words of the wise are as goads, and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. And further, by these, my son, be admonished. Of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, keep his commandments. This is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. All right, so let me shrink that down, okay? And you know what? I'm actually going to read the comment that's right here below, because in this case, I think it's actually pretty relevant, simple, not contrived. God has not answered every problem of life, but he has commanded man to live joyfully, responsibly, and wisely. Finally, the controlling factor of all life should be the fear of God, that is, submission to God and his revelation. The certainty of divine judgment demands it. Ecclesiastes is really about the vanity of life. All is vanity. You want to go out there and build the tallest tower? Great. Someone probably built one that was taller, and even if they didn't, it's going to crumble one day. Okay? It's going to fall into dust, and it's just vanity. Right? You want to be the most famous whatever? People are going to forget you eventually. Vanity, right? I could go on and on and on. All is vanity. It's just dust in the wind. It's grasping, trying to bottle up lightning. It's pointless. And so at the end of all of that, this preacher here and this preacher here both concur. The conclusion of the whole matter: fear God and keep his commandments. That is the whole duty of man. For in the end, be it good or evil, there will be judgment. Right? I'll leave you with that. Don't fret too much about the stuff that's going on out there. Yes, you need to be aware of it. Yes, you need to see the illuminated objects that are out there, for sure. But don't forget, you come from the light which illuminates those things and which illuminates you. That's what you come from. That's where you're going. You are here to serve that end. All right? Don't sweat the small stuff. Mostly it's small stuff. Mostly it's out of your control. Focus on yourself and the people in your immediate sphere. Empower yourself. Focus on those things. Everything else can get sorted out. Have hope, but don't get delusional. Right? My opinion, things definitely going to get rockier. How are we going to learn anything if it's just like snap, crackle, pop, Rice Krispies and everything's wonderful without us having to do anything? We're not. It's not really God's way either, is it? I mean, you look at what has happened to people. Forget Job. That's an extreme situation. Just in general. You ain't got to like it, but that's how things usually roll. I hope all y'all digging this fun little backdrop that I'm trying here. I'll try to get better with it. But I got to tell you, I would really love some thoughts, some feedback, some suggestions on things that maybe to cover, because, as I've said before, there's so many different things and I only have so much time, but I very much enjoy bringing the gems where I can find them. Stay blessed.